Hello, scholars. Welcome to another lesson in our Unit 3 grammar study of adverbs. Today, you are going to work on Part A of some diagramming practice, and then on Friday of this week, you're going to have a lesson on Part B. So, jumping right into Part A, we're going to need to quickly review. Who can remind us of what an adverb describes? Hopefully you can. Think about our adverb chant if you need to. Right? Adverbs energize three types of words: verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Right? So an adverb describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Well, scholars, we have been practicing diagramming sentences where the adverb describes the verb. Hippos bellowed loudly. Right? Loudly describes bellowed, right? Telling how they bellowed. Notice how the adverb is connected to the verb because it is describing the verb. So in this lesson, right, we're going to talk about this question. When an adverb describes another adverb, to what is it going to connect? Did you say it's going to connect to the other adverb? Absolutely, right? Words that are describing other words are going to connect to those words. Let me show you what I mean. So remember our core from that very first sample, hippos bellowed. Hippos bellowed loudly. Remember, we just talked about loudly is describing bellowed, right? An adverb, loudly, describing the verb bellowed. But now watch what I'm going to do for this adverb that describes the adverb loudly. Are you ready? Look at that. So this sentence is hippos bellowed very loudly. Very is describing loudly. How loudly? Very loudly. So very, look how we break off this arm. Right? We make a little extender, right, and put this arm off of loudly because very needs to connect to loudly. Very loudly. An adverb describing an adverb. All right, are you ready to practice one with me? Here we go. You might want to grab your marker board marker or a scrap of paper so you can practice this right along with me. Look at this sentence. Carlos tiptoed very quietly. Let's go ahead and start with our core. Right? What action is happening? Right. Tiptoed. Now, who or what tiptoed? You got it. Carlos. Now, scholars, let's think tiptoed how? Right. Quietly. Quietly is an adverb describing the verb tiptoed. But wait, we have another adverb describing the adverb quietly. Is this how you diagrammed very? How quietly? Very quietly. How'd you do? Great. Let's try another one. Look at sentence number 2. The scholars worked extremely diligently. Let's try this sentence before we go to the next slide. Think. What action? Who or what did that action? Then scholars think worked how, one word, worked how. Then think how diligently. And don't forget about the word the. All right, let's check that sentence. Ready? My first question was, what is the action? Worked. Then I asked who or what worked. Scholars. Scholars worked is the core of this sentence, our subject and the verb. Scholars worked. Worked how was my next question. Right. Diligently. Diligently is an adverb describing the verb worked. Then, scholars, I asked, how diligently? You guessed it, we have an adverb describing an adverb. It looks like this: extremely diligently. An adverb, extremely, describing an adverb, diligently. And then I also quickly said, don't forget about the. Where did you diagram the? Hopefully, under scholars. Remember, the articles a and the are called noun markers, right? They're special adjectives, articles, which means they're noun markers. They tell you a noun is coming in the sentence. So they're diagrammed under the noun that's coming in the sentence. I hope you did well on that one. I'd like to try another one. Ready? Here we go. The pencil broke quite suddenly. All right, press pause and try this sentence. All right, ready to check? Listen to my questions. What action is happening? Right, broke. Then think who or what broke. Aha, pencil broke. Pencil broke is the core of our sentence, the subject and the verb. Broke how? Broke when? Suddenly. Suddenly is an adverb describing the verb broke. So we diagram it under the verb because it describes or modifies the verb. How suddenly? Quite suddenly. Right? An adverb describing an adverb. So we hook it just like that. The arm coming out, adverb describing an adverb. And then, of course, did you remember the? Yes, the. Great. All right, scholars, we're going to do one last sentence. Please, fortitude. Prudent students are doing this practice so that they are familiar with these parts of speech and diagramming. 12 happy dogs yelped quite loudly. All right. Think for a moment, right? What action is happening? And then who or what is doing that action? I hope you're diagramming. Yelped how? Ah, yes. How loudly? What kind of dogs? How many dogs? All right, if you need more time to work on this sentence, press pause. Otherwise, we are going to check through this sentence right now. Are you ready? Here we go. First, right, what is our action? Correct. Yelped. Who or what yelped? Excellent. Dogs. Yelped how? Right. Loudly. Loudly is an adverb describing or modifying the verb yelped. But scholars, how loudly? Quite loudly. Quite is an adverb describing an adverb. Quite describing loudly. So that arm comes off of loudly. Then there were also two adjectives in this sentence. What kind of dogs? Happy dogs. How many dogs? 12 dogs. Scholars, well done. That ends our practice for today on diagramming adverbs that describe adverbs. Now that you're finished, all you have to do today is click to turn it in, confirming, right, telling us that you watched this video and practiced diagramming adverbs that describe adverbs. Remember, there'll be a part B of this lesson on Friday. Be sure to check that out and watch that video for a little more practice with diagramming. Thanks for joining me, scholars.